Verse 40 continues, and 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering. The same amount of wine as oil was to be presented to the Lord. However, this was not mixed with the bread, but was poured out as a drink offering. The word for wine here is yain. You can hear the similarity. It's where a word for wine comes from. It's a common word for wine, and it was used 10 times in Genesis, but it's seen only this once in all of the book of Exodus. It comes from an unused root, which means to effervesce. Thus, it indicates fermented wine. It is to be considered wine which has alcohol content in it. It is thus banqueting wine. This is only the second time that a drink offering has been mentioned in Scripture. The first was after Jacob's night sleeping on the stone when he had his heavenly dream back in Genesis 35. Here's what that said. So Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, a pillar of stone, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spoke with him, Bethel. Like that drink offering, these were to be wholly poured out to the Lord. The pulpit commentary disagrees, though. Here's what they say. They say the application of the drink offerings is uncertain. Josephus says in his Antiquity of the Jews that they were poured out round the brazen altar. But the analogy of the meat offering makes it probable that a portion only was thus treated, while the greater part belonged to the priests. In the entire provision by which burnt offering and peace offering were to be necessarily accompanied with meat offerings and drink offerings, we can scarcely be wrong in seeing an arrangement made especially for the convenience of the priests. That's entirely incorrect. The wine contains alcohol content. This was forbidden for the priests to consume during their time when they ministered in their duties. This is seen in Leviticus 10, verses 8 through 11. Then the Lord spoke to Aaron, saying, do not drink wine or intoxicating drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tabernacle of meeting, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that you may distinguish between the holy and the unholy, and between the unclean and the clean, that you may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord has spoken to them by the hand of Moses. There was no prohibition on the priests or anyone else in Israel concerning alcohol consumption, with but two exceptions: the restriction for the priests as they ministered, and for the Nazirite during the time of a vow. Those are the only two times in the Bible that drinking alcohol is forbidden. But I highlight that because I want you to know that when you read commentaries, even by great scholars like the people at the pulpit commentary, they will make mistakes. And so always take things with a grain of salt until you research what is going on. The Bible forbid them from drinking that while they were ministering in their duties. The pouring out of the drink offering in its entirety signifies the pouring out of the lifeblood of Christ for the remission of sins. There is no way that God would allow the priests to consume such an offering. In this act can be seen a secondary picture of the outpouring of his love and the offering up of himself. The three offerings of the lamb, the meal offering, and the wine produce a marvelous picture of a banquet of Christ's life presented to God and for man. But for Israel of old, they could only speculate on the meanings of these things. For them, the sacrifice and accompanying offerings would simply be signs of gratitude to God for his everlasting mercies. They would also be faithful, twice daily acknowledgments of his protective care and his enduring love.